So, you want to make a comic book. You've got great characters, a good art style, and a deep, thrilling plot. But something's missing. You put it all down on page, and it tells your story, but it just doesn't have any pop. There's no pizzazz. It's a basic comic, sure, but it doesn't hold up to the likes of, say, Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. Now, plenty of arguments can be made as to why The Dark Knight Returns has had such a lasting impact. And a lot of those arguments could apply to your comic. Just flipping through the book, though, reveals something interesting. Miller's page design. He doesn't just use a formulaic X number of panels per page, all the same size and shape. No, he manipulates the size, number, and shape of the panels, as well as the shape of the white space between each panel. He's got full page spreads and splashes. Today, though, we're going to be focusing on gutters, which is comics lingo for all that empty white space between the panels. Now, it can be argued that not all comic artists use gutters. Some simply use lines of varying thickness to separate their panels. But, in a sense, those lines are gutters, as they're simply empty space that frames a panel. Gutters go hand in hand with the panel shape, as the gutters define the shape of a given panel. Bleeds are the only exception to this, but we'll get into those later. The gutters and panel shapes can be used to display things just as much as the content of the panels themselves. Take, for example, a TV news broadcast. Now, you could just draw in the actual broadcast and put a station logo in the corner, but that feels inordinately artificial. Or, you could show the actual television of the panel and show people watching the TV, but that seems to imply the people watching are more important than the news itself. Or you could even show the inside of a studio, but that removes the impact of this is being broadcast. Let's see what Miller does. Here we go. So as you can see here, for his news reports, Miller relies on the panel shape. He uses the shape of the panel to show the actual shape of a TV screen. He also places the dialogue that occurs in each panel outside the panel proper. This trick simulates a teleprompter, or perhaps closed captioning. That simulation makes the suspension of disbelief easier than most other techniques for reading a comic that displays the news. Now, gutters can be black, white, or red all over, but seriously, they can be any color. For the most part, though, they stay a consistent color throughout a comic. Changing the color of the gutter in mid-book can be a powerful weapon for an artist's arsenal, if used properly. They can also tie in with bleeds, but again, those will be discussed later. At two major points in The Dark Knight Returns, Miller resorts to changing the color of his gutters. He uses both these color changes to emphasize something that's going on in the panels they surround. The first time the gutters change color is on page 131, which shows the aftermath of the Joker's attack on a TV studio and his visit to an aged Selina Kyle, better known as Catwoman. The black here emphasizes two things: Joker's evil nature and Catwoman's fall from, if not grace, then at least dignity. The second occurrence of black gutters is a 17-page run from pages 167 to 184. These pages cover a blackout in Gotham City. We're just going to run through a few pages here. Now, obviously, these black gutters emphasize the dark, but they also elaborate on the evil acts that are going on inside the story here. And at the risk of being rather punny, it also plays on Batman's epitaph of the Dark Knight. Now, to sum up this episode, manipulating gutters can bring an otherwise still comic to life. Gutters can help immensely with immersing readers in a comic, which is paradoxical in a sense, as their very presence reinforces the status of the comic as, well, a comic, a piece of paper you're holding in your hand. Thanks for watching. Write in any questions you might have, and tune in next time when we'll be discussing those notorious page stealers, spreads, and bleeds.